Right now, there's a huge battle raging on college campuses, and it's all about artificial intelligence. So, is AI the biggest cheating crisis in history? Or is it actually the most powerful learning tool we've ever invented? Let's get into it. I mean, you can just feel the frustration in this, right? This quote from a student on Reddit really captures the raw anger and, honestly, the helplessness that so many are feeling. They're caught in the middle of this new tech war, and a lot of honest students are taking the friendly fire.
And that really gets to the heart of the matter. Are we looking at a generation of cheaters? Or is it possible that universities are just panicking? Are they fighting a battle against the future with completely flawed tools and totally outdated rules? To really understand this conflict, you have to start with the weapons. The first thing a lot of schools did was roll out AI detection software. And what that did was kick off a full-blown technological arms race between students and their own schools. You see, there's this massive gap between what these detectors promise in their sales pitch and what's actually happening on the ground. They'll tell you they have near-perfect accuracy, but then companies like Turnitin will admit to a 4% false positive rate. Now, that might not sound like much, but that's 1 out of every 25 students getting wrongly accused. They promise they're unbiased, but studies are showing they tend to flag work from non-native English speakers. And they promise clarity, but how they work is a total secret. It's this mystery detection that leaves students and even professors completely in the dark.
And the results you get can be absolutely baffling. Take this user, for example. They took an article they wrote 15 years ago, long before ChatGPT was even a thing, and ran it through a detector. The verdict? It was probably made by AI. So how on earth does that even happen?
Well, another user chimed in with the answer, and this is where it gets really weird. The AI was trained on a massive amount of human writing from across the internet, which might have included that person's exact article. So the AI learned to write so much like a human that the tools designed to catch it can't even tell the difference anymore. It's a total paradox. So, at the end of the day, this whole detection-first strategy seems like it's doomed to fail. A lot of people in both the tech world and in academia are starting to agree. Trying to build a perfect AI detector is basically a fool's errand. It's an unsolvable problem. And for the companies selling these tools, it's turned into a really profitable business model built on the fear of educators. So, if the detectors don't really work, what's plan B? Well, this is where universities are scrambling to come up with actual policies. But with absolutely no consensus, what we have is this chaotic mess of different rules that can change from one campus to the next, or even from one classroom to the next. Just look at how different the approaches are at some of the world's top universities. Over at Oxford, they say AI is banned for final assignments unless a professor gives explicit permission. MIT, on the other hand, is mostly worried about data privacy. Their big rule is to never upload sensitive info. Stanford keeps it simple. Treat AI like you treat another person. If you can't ask a friend to do it for you, you can't ask an AI. And then at Peking University, the law school flat out forbids copying any AI content into your final work. It's all over the place. But if you squint a little and look through all that chaos, you do start to see a few common ideas taking shape. Number 1, transparency is everything. You have to be upfront about how you're using AI. 2, data privacy is non-negotiable. 3, it's up to the instructors. They get the final say in their own classrooms. And 4, a new standard is emerging. If you're allowed to use AI, you better cite it, just like any other source. And all of this is leading us to a much more forward-thinking approach. Instead of just playing defense and making rules to stop cheating, some schools are starting to ask a much better question. How can we actually, thoughtfully bring AI into the learning process? This diagram from Macomb Community College gives us a glimpse of what that could look like. It's a layered approach. See, it starts with the big, broad rules from the university itself. Then it moves down to department training for professors, then to program-specific goals, and finally, right down to the course level, where AI gets built directly into the assignments. And what's at the very center of it all? Student competency. A framework like this makes the rules super clear for students. An instructor can just pick their level. Restrictive? That's a total ban. Moderate means, sure, use it for brainstorming, but the core work has to be yours. Permissive? Go for it. Use it freely, just make sure you cite it. And then there's immersive, which takes it a step further. It actually requires students to use AI and then grades them on how well they use it. And that brings us to the final and I think the most important shift here. If we're going to accept that AI is here to stay, then we have to change what we teach and how we teach.
The goal can't be just to do the same old stuff with a shiny new tool. The goal has to develop entirely new skills for a new world.
A Reddit user really just hit the nail on the head with this one. For centuries, education has been all about judging students on the quality of their answers. But what happens when a machine can give you a pretty great answer to almost any question in seconds? Well, the most valuable human skill isn't finding the answer anymore. It's asking the perfect question. So, in the real world, this means we have to start teaching things like prompt engineering as a core skill. Students need to learn how to give AI the right context, a super clear task, and tons of specific details. They need to show it examples of what they want. And maybe most importantly, they need to learn how to have a back and forth conversation with it to get the best results. That's not cheating. That's a whole new kind of critical thinking. Now, let's be real for a second. None of this is going to be easy. All this theory about integrating AI into education sounds neat and tidy on a slide, but putting it into practice, that's going to be messy. It's going to be complicated, and there's going to be a lot of trial and error. And that leaves us with one final big thought. The real challenge was never really about stopping students from using AI. It's about evolution. The entire mission of education has to shift from just trying to ban a powerful new tool to actively teaching students how to think alongside it. The real question is, are our schools, our professors, and are we ready for that change?